1, 2, 3, and
We are in the sunny and very beautiful, but also very cold Croatia. And we're at the Grobnik Racetrack or the Grobnik Autodrome. And with us today is this, the Skoda Octavia RS. Obviously, we're going to be heading out onto the racetrack for a few laps in the Octavia RS. But since we're here at the pit lane and we have some quiet, let's take a look around at the car because this version is coming to India. So this is the 4th generation of the Octavia RS, and now you know we've had every version of the RS in India. This one too will be headed there. So like I said, taking a look around at the front. Now remember, this is the 4th generation. It's the facelift of the 4th generation. So the facelift, there are some of the elements that have changed, and I think on the RS it actually really shows off really nicely, and especially in this color too, because you can see all of the sharp edges here nicely contrasted against this lighter body color. Now, some of those details aren't just aesthetic, they're also functional. In fact, here, if you peep in, I'll have a cut shot as well for you. You can see there's a gap, and that's to create a sort of air curtain around these wheels. Now, the wheels, if you've noticed, they are kind of closed off, and Skoda calls them the aero wheels. In fact, they're optimized to reduce drag. So the 19-inch alloys here, I don't know, what do you think? Do they look sporty? Do they look too much like an EV? Let us know in the comments down below. Like the air intake area, the headlights and the DRL signature are sharp and angular, and they are HD matrix units, which is standard on all variants. Okay, now at the rear, as you can see, especially so on this white shade, the sharp edges of the taillights, they look really nice and striking. I really like them. And then up here on top, you have a lip spoiler integrated into the boot. And then down below, there is a black sort of diffuser treatment and twin exhaust. And yes, they are real exhaust. There's pipes behind them there, so both are actually connected. Now, since we're here at the back, let's take a look inside the boot. The boot, remember, this is the Octavia, so it has that signature lift back design. And boot space stands at an impressive 600 liters. Okay, so inside the Octavia RS now, one of the things that you can see is it's all black, very sporty, and it's got this nice contrast stitching in red. The seats too have the same treatment. You've got contrast stitching in red and a little bit of a red textured dotted surface in here. The seats itself, they are the sports seats, so they hug you nicely in your body, and for my body frame, actually they were quite comfortable. In fact, I thought they were just perfect and right for me. The facelift, it brings in a larger touch screen, 13 inches, very nice to use, and of course, like with many Skodas, has that touch sensitive bar down here below, so you can change the volume easily while on the move. That's handy because a lot of functions are actually unfortunately buried into the touch screen, so it's good to see some controls at least out here, as well as some buttons down here for the climate control. Now let's talk equipment. Let me show you something. Yeah, this here, as you can see, is a manual seat, but don't worry, this is not going to be coming to India. We're going to get the powered seats because it's coming in as a CBU, so to justify that higher price, Skoda are going to load up the cars, and you're going to have a very good and rich equipment list. Speaking of the price, of course, 40 to 50 lakh, closer to the 50 lakh mark is what we hear the RS would cost once it is in showrooms in India. Now, the rest of the equipment, yeah, you've got the steering wheel, and as is now the norm with Skodas, you've got the Skoda lettering instead of the logo here. In front of me, you've got a digital IP panel, but it's really nice to see that there are very nice looking and easy to read twin dials. Something you know, if you're watching this channel very often, I really like. So that's really nice to see. Behind the steering wheel, paddle shifters, and down here is a gear selector knob, if you can call it, or a small little lever, a stubby lever. I wish there was something a little more sporty down here below though. Other equipment, yeah, this being a Skoda, so you've got a little bit of these simply clever storage spaces. You've got a lot of USBs, of course. There's a wireless charger here, and there's a very nice, let me reach my phone. There's a very nice phone holder here as well too, sort of buried into the cup holder. So that's something nice to see. Time now to get onto the track. So what's it like out on a racetrack? Now it is quick, obviously, 265 horsepower. And the 2-litre TSI also puts out 370 Newton meters of torque, all propelling the Octavia from 0 to 100 in a claimed 6.4 seconds. That's plenty fast for a sporty family saloon. I'm coming down the straight now. We are at 100, 200 and onto the brakes. Yes, brakes good. There's a little bit of a shimmy on them, but I think that's also more to do with the track surface changing. There was a crest there at the point where I was braking. Into corners like this, there is good amount of grip. We're not really pushing it right now. We are following like a chase car, and it is driven by one of Skoda's rally drivers, but I'm sure he can do a lot quicker, but I think he's just keeping the convoy a little under pace. Yeah, I've got the car in sport mode, and while it has obviously quickened responses from the powertrain, the engine and the gearbox, it's also tidied up the chassis control from the active dampers. There is some amount of lean though, and out here on the racetrack, it would have been nice to have a little less of it. Though out on the roads, through twisty sections, through ghats, if you're indulging in some spirited driving, it'll be just fine. In fact, very, very enjoyable. Also enjoyable is the sports exhaust, which has a nice, soft but sporty tone to it. Coming now to what's it like on public roads. So I was driving this car earlier out on the highway, on the expressways here, and it's remarkable how easygoing the nature is. In fact, almost too easygoing. It really feels like just any other family sedan. It all depends on how you view it. As an outright sports sedan, you'd want more, but see it as a sedan with a sporty side to it, and it does just fine. So in a straight line, what's the acceleration like? Well, obviously put your foot down like this, it'll drop a gear or two and off you go. And I experienced that out on the highway too, on the expressways. It is really quick. Top speed is 250 kilometers, limited to that, and you can't complain or want more from what is a four-door sort of family car. So it is really quick in a straight line. The 7-speed DSG is also quick to respond to throttle as well as the paddle inputs, should you choose to use them. What's it like in the Benz, right out here on public roads? Well, as you can see, I have a smile on my face, so I am enjoying it. And grip is good. Tire grip as well as suspension grip, really good. The variable ratio steering rack is not very communicative, but the weight is just right. There is body roll. In fact, I thought there would be less out here on public roads. On the racetrack, it did feel like it was leaning more than I would have liked. Here too, there is some amount of lean. Not alarming or anything like that, but just given that there are dynamic dampers, I would have liked a tighter body control. Onto the ride, the RS is 15 mm lower than the regular car, and with the shorter springs, you do feel a slight firm edge over highway ruts, but it's in no way uncomfortable. So that then is the Octavia RS. It's headed to India this year, but coming in as a CBU means this will be the most expensive Octavia yet, around 50 lakh we hear. For that money, you can still expect a lovely car. A more lively handling character would have been nice, but everything else is just right. Like we've seen with Octavias before, it is a very sorted daily driver. Comfortable enough, loads of space, and a responsive engine too. So it really is all the car you'll ever want.